Hi, I'm Extraayogurt and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new, then welcome back. And today's build was really exciting because it was actually recommended to me by a viewer called Boshello L05, and I'll put the comment up here. Thank you so much for your recommendation. I really liked this idea and I thought it might be a cool challenge for me to try and execute because I've never been to a paint and sip or sip and paint, and I've heard a lot about them. It seems really fun, but it's not actually something I've ever been to in real life. So yeah, thank you for your recommendation and for the kind comment. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I really needed an idea for something to build, and this was just perfect. And I have to be honest, I'm not sure if I executed it well or not, because when I tried to look up reference images for a sip and paint place, it really doesn't have a specific look. I mean, every different sip and paint place had a completely different look. I mean, it could be a spare room in a school, it could be its own storefront, it could be like an old building. There were so many different takes on it. So yeah, it doesn't really have a specific look. And that being said, this build, it was a bit confusing. It was a little bit challenging, and it might look a bit confusing to you guys too, because the outside really gives me like, it seems like a really nice house that was turned into a business. It doesn't really give me the like business vibes that I thought I was going for. But let me know what you guys think if you've ever been to a sip and paint. Let me know if I was, even a little bit close. But so yeah, that being said, I chose to instead of trying to think of what I've seen in real life, I chose to kind of take the direction of just building something that I wanted to build and kind of figuring out the interior once the exterior was done. So I had a little bit of fun with some CC. I figured why not? Although we are building this in Sunwater, I do intend to, I do end up plopping it in South Valley City, because this seems more like a community lot that would be in South Valley City, because Sunwater is still coming up. We really don't even have all the basics completely built out. We don't have a clothing store. There's only one restaurant, things like that. So I feel like a sip and paint was meant for a neighborhood that was a lot more established. So yeah, like I said, I built it in Sunwater, and I do end up placing it permanently in South Valley City. So yeah, with that, I decided to have fun with some CC, some really nice wallpapers from iCAD. Really helped this build come together and look very nice. So as usual, of course, any CC I used will be in the description, and I did use some Maxis recolors that are honestly pretty important to the look of the build, so make sure to download those first if you would like to download the lot. Otherwise, just enjoy the build. And okay, so right here I am doing another like false chimney situation, kind of like how we did with the flower shop. And I don't know, I've just been really liking that style lately, and I feel like it's a good way to incorporate different wallpapers as well and kind of make the build look a little bit more interesting. But yes, so on the topic of CC used, I should mention I did download a table easel, which is basically a miniaturized version of the regular easel in the game, in order for me to place easels on tables, of course, which is, the main part of a sip and paint. So I'm kind of confused on the object. It is included in the download. However, it's like a cross between a custom item and a mod. So yeah, I'm not really sure how it works, but when I tested this lot out, Basically, the easel works just the same as the regular easel. Of course, because this is a community lot, you can't actually gain any skill points from using the easel. But it also doesn't affect your Sims fun bar either. So I was kind of thinking, like, so what would be the purpose of them coming here? And at least for me, I have a mod which enables build and buy mode on community lots, as well as your Sims inventory, and that'll be in the description too. So at least for me and for anyone who has that mod, your Sims could create their painting, and then you can drop it in their inventory for them to take home. But if you don't have that mod, it does feel kind of pointless to have Sims visit this lot. So I did make sure to add some microphones. I added a few microphones so your Sims could do, they could sing or do stand-up comedy or whatever if they don't want to paint. And then of course there's a few bars that your Sims can interact with. So yeah, it's more of just kind of like a social hangout spot more than anything. But like I said, if you do have that mod, or if you want to get that mod, then your Sims can actually take their artwork home. But yeah, I have a lot of community lots that are kind of like that. It's just kind of like a social spot. I also have a lot of community lot ideas that don't have as much functionality as I would like, and I feel like that's just one of those imagination things where you kind of have to find a way to make it worth it for you. Of course, there's a lot of awesome functional CC that you can add to your lots, but honestly, for the purpose of lots that I like to share, I really try not to add too many things that you'd have to download. Sometimes it does just unfortunately kind of turn out that way, but I try my best. I really do. But yeah, so anyway, here I am just adding windows, and it looks kind of wonky. I was really struggling with this build a lot. I didn't know that it would be such a challenge, but I am glad that it was, because I feel like that just makes me a little bit better each time I build something when I encounter something challenging. So I thought about things that maybe I can do better next time, and things that I liked about this build. And yeah, if you guys are ever interested in giving recommendations, I'm always happy to take note of them. I have a Google Doc where I keep track of any recommendations that I've gotten. And obviously I can't promise that I will actually be able to fulfill it, but sometimes I am looking for an idea of something to build, and that list really comes in handy. So yeah, I really appreciate any recommendations and stuff like that, knowing things that you guys want to see. But yes, sometimes it's either maybe I don't find an idea super interesting or relevant to my neighborhoods, or I just know that I wouldn't do a good job at building something, and that's really the only reason where I might be like, I'm not so sure. Or if I'm already working on a really big project already. But I always appreciate hearing your guys' ideas. So here I am working on kind of the upstairs layout, which was another challenge. As you can see, I'm panning the camera around a lot and not really doing anything because I just don't know. I don't know what a paint and sip is supposed to look like. I don't know what it should feature. And I do actually end up cutting out a big portion of this thinking process here. So I think I skipped over all of the exterior painting. Yes, I did. So we got the exterior all painted, and I used some siding from iCAD and some shingles from iCAD, some of those like weathered cedar shingles, and then this nice like dark red brick I used as well. So the entire exterior is pretty like dark colored with the white accents of the doors, windows, fencing. Oh, okay, yeah, I also did the fencing already, which was really repetitive to watch, so I just snipped that out as well. There's just a lot of fencing going on, and I wanted to make sure that back corner was completely fenced off so Sims couldn't go back there, but that the patio on the side there was nice and open. So yeah, I'm trying to get better at slicing up these videos and making them a bit easier to watch. And I know a lot of parts can be very repetitive and boring, but me personally, I like to watch things that are repetitive and a little bit boring. I don't really mind it, but I really do hate to put up such a long video and maybe 10 minutes of it is me just going back and forth over the same spot. So anyway, so I made sure that I put in the bathrooms right away. I hate when I forget to add bathrooms to my community lots. And the floor covering I put there was just to kind of help me map out the walkway of the first floor. Like I said, I wasn't really sure. It's just incredible how much easier it is to build things when you're so used to seeing them. It's almost like second nature. Like you just know where things are and what's what. But yeah, honestly, building this really made me want to try to go to a sip and paint. There's honestly a lot of different options near me that I haven't even attempted to try, but now I'm like, I really want to see what it looks like in person. So yeah, honestly not sure if adding a second floor at all was a great idea, but that is what I ended up doing. And there is sort of like a kind of chaotic messiness to the interior of the build that I kind of love. And I figured if this is a place where you're making art, your sim should want to feel inspired. It shouldn't be too perfect or too clean. It should be kind of more of like an inspiring space. So hopefully I conveyed that well when you guys see the final outcome. The way that this upstairs loft area looks changes a lot throughout the video. I do end up sizing it down a little bit, but like I said earlier, I kind of wish I didn't add it at all, because some reference pictures I did look at were also including art studios, and a lot of them were very spacious and had like high ceilings and things. So I think that could have worked too, but I think I should probably just be satisfied with what I ended up with. So the pink and purple carpet that you saw me use, that was just to figure out the places where I wanted the floor covering to be different. I really wanted a good mix of interesting floor coverings, and I kept the wallpaper very plain because I knew I would put up lots of art everywhere. But yeah, also choosing the floor coverings was a lot more difficult for me than I thought it was going to be, but yeah, like I said earlier, I had some fun with using CC in this build. And the funny thing about it is that even when I use CC, I still try to use very little, but just the fact that I have all this CC in my game, it's like it's very tempting to use a lot more of it, but I really try to like hold back and use mostly Maxis things. So yeah, I think my next project is going to be some more CC free starter homes. I really enjoyed doing that, and it does bring me back to working on my kind of CC free skills. But yeah, this build really required some CC to make it come to life. Okay, so here we are in the middle of decorating the sort of lobby slash reception area, and um, this part seems to take a lot longer than it should, but I was really just trying to figure out where I was going with the decorations, what the color scheme was gonna be, and I'm sure you guys saw I took way too long on that carpet design that ended up being very mediocre. But I really like the color scheme, and I feel like this is a good base for kind of an artsy place, doing lots of tans and kind of I guess more muted, or not muted, but neutral colors, because it makes the space feel warm, even though you're going to put up lots of art that doesn't necessarily match. I think it's just going with the neutral tones is, it's like not too harsh and won't clash too much with the different artwork and things. So you guys know what I mean, you guys know what I'm trying to say. But so I wanted to add a little bookshelf here and some shelves to display some random little statues and pieces of art that I thought would be cute. And I also kind of thought of it as maybe art that was created here at the studio. So yeah, I just added a few cute little random things. It was really nice to not have to think about the theme of anything and to just be able to put any sort of decor here on the shelf. If you're a big decorator and you're really big into detailing your lots, then you know how annoying it can be to find the right things to place on these little shelves. So this was like a really nice break from thinking too hard about something like that. So So there is this little area or like nook here behind the lobby that I wanted to turn into kind of like the area where you can go to pick your blank canvas. And instead of using shelves, I chose to stack these IKEA tables instead. I thought they looked a little bit better than the shelf options I had. And yeah, so some of these blank canvases are Sims 4 conversions by Veronica, and it was just the perfect addition to add to this little space. I imagine when you go to a paint and sip, you have something like this where you go and pick out your canvas, or you know, maybe the canvases are already set up on the easels, but this was a really good opportunity to use this space for something. And although it is just decorative for The Sims, it does make the lot feel a lot more like it's fulfilling kind of the purpose that I made it for. So yeah. All right, so here in the corner, you'll see we've created a little kitchen slash bar area, and of course the bathrooms there. And at first I was just going to have the bar, but I downloaded some deco charcuterie boards, and I figured, well, it only makes sense to have a proper kitchen where the people who work here, the Sims who work here, would have stored the food. So I made an entire kitchen, and of course, because this is a sip and paint, you have to have something to sip. So I downloaded these decorative alcohol display shelves from Jackie 93 Sims. Like I said before, don't worry, everything's in the description. And most of the CCIUs is already included in the lot file anyway, but yeah, so these came from Jackie, and she also has a functional version of these alcohol display shelves, but for this lot I just downloaded the decorative ones because that's all I really needed them for. I'm not sure if including functional objects in lots presents any sort of issue, but I was kind of worried about that, so I just went with the decorative versions. But yeah, she's an awesome creator, and there are indeed functional versions of these really nice looking alcohol displays. And I love how much it adds to this little kitchen area. Otherwise, we would have probably just had to go with these Maxis wine shelves, which are great too, but of course not as colorful, not as interesting, and yeah, so here I am just trying to figure out something interesting to do with this upper space in the kitchen, and I do end up using my little kind of fencing method to decorate that wall up there. It's always awkward sometimes decorating these second story spaces. I talk about this a lot, but with each time I feel like I get just a little bit more comfortable with it. So yeah. So I imagine that if you're at a paint and sip, you would have kind of an instructor going step by step through the painting everyone is doing. So I made sure to include this little stage area with a full-size canvas and a little artist's table right there. And this is also where I added the microphone. And then upstairs, I have another sort of collection of these items where the instructor might be. So yeah, I don't know if that's a thing, but I imagine that it would be. And you'll see me kind of cram a bunch of objects on there. And although your sim won't be able to, well, when I play tested this lot, my sim wasn't able to use the canvas. They were indeed able to use the microphone, even with the stool there and everything. And they were also able to use the stool, I believe. So, you know, have your sims visit this lot and check it out. And you might be surprised at the things that are accessible despite the way that I've placed them. So that was a very pleasant surprise. So yeah. So here you guys will see me adding a bunch of these Bon Voyage paintings because this is one of the items that I downloaded a bunch of recolors for from this awesome creator on Mod The Sims called Corax. Like I said, everything will be in the description. Make sure to download these Maxis recolors because they cannot be attached to the lot file. But these were perfect. I mean, perfect for this paint and sip lot. All of the artwork are, they are either actual art from the game, or they just look exactly like, you know, paintings that you would see at a sip and paint. So yeah, there's a few, I think it's only just 2 Maxis objects that the recolors are for. Actually, no, I did check, it's 3. So there's the little table easel, I believe that came with IKEA stuff. And then there's the Bon Voyage frame. And then there's this, I want to say nightlife poster that I downloaded recolors for. So super awesome creator, came in handy perfectly for this build. And okay, yes, so right now I just downsized that upstairs loft area a bit so that we could have some more open ceiling space, especially because that easel on top of that platform is so tall that it would literally like intersect with the top floor. So I wanted to make sure I opened that up. And yeah, so I was also able to continue that wall of posters upward because I opened that section up and it all kind of worked out perfectly. Okay, so now we've moved on to upstairs, and I know I just made a little fuss about functional objects, but I also added this functional teapot serving tray from Jackie Sims as well. So that's a total of 2 functional objects included with the lot. Hopefully that doesn't cause any issues, but we should be okay. It's a really neat object. Your Sims can just walk up to it and choose to serve tea, and then they can have a cup of tea if they want. I thought it would be a cool addition because there should be, a variety of options for your Sims to enjoy here. And as you can see, I'm just adding more of those really cool paintings along the staircase wall. Okay, so here we are. We have finally wrapped up the landscaping, and I talk about this a lot, but landscaping is probably my weakest skill when it comes to building, so I found it a little bit difficult, but I pretty much, for the most part, just went with a few different types of shrubs and just kind of lined them up between the fencing where I could. And oh yeah, here I am just adding some rugs underneath each of the tables. I thought it would be fun, and I also liked how it made the inside of the build look a little bit more chaotic, which is kind of what I was going for, because I feel like an art studio should have a little bit of organized chaos. And then of course I've been obsessed with doing signage in this sort of way by adding a piece of wall to the roof, and so I did just that. Covered it with some of those cedar shingles again, and yeah, we've definitely gone over this before too, about how I am like reusing this idea again and again, and I'm trying to do different things to make it unique for each community lot, but I am low-key running out of ideas. But for this sign, I decided to add those little star wall hangings, and I changed them to gold. Right now they're kind of like a bronzy rose gold, but I changed them to gold in order to match the sign. I added some lights, and I really like how this sign came out. Yeah, I think it just kind of makes it look nice and polished, and really it really needed something to make it look like a community lot rather than a house, so I wanted to be sure to add some signage. But yeah, so here we are in the final screenshots. I hope you guys like it. Let me know how I did and how close to reality this is. And yeah, once again, thank you again for the recommendation. And this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the challenge. And yeah, that pretty much wraps things up. I'm excited to see you guys in the next build again, which will be very soon. Leave any other recommendations you'd like for me if you want. And yeah, bye-bye.